Why does Vegeta hate fusion? Shouldn't he be excited about what power he can achieve? And why does he always have a tantrum when it's suggested? Every time when Goku suggests they fuse, Vegeta complains for ages about why he doesn't want to fuse and then finally fuses with Goku anyways. There are many reasons why Vegeta hates fusion, but at the center of it all is his pride. Vegeta is strictly loyal to himself and his saiyan heritage. It takes a lot of convincing and arguing to force him into relying on another's power. Often Vegeta's first reaction is he would rather die than fuse. Fusion is an affront to him because it's power he can't obtain on his own at a specific point without Goku's help. He doesn't care about the great power that comes because of fusion because he basically dies whilst it takes place. It's not like he's experiencing it or in control anyways. Think about what fusion means for Vegeta. Number 1, with Gogeta, he must perform a dance which he finds utterly humiliating, and if you don't get it right, you have to do it again and again until it's perfect. What a nightmare for Vegeta! In Dragon Ball Super Broly, they didn't have any Potara, so the fusion dance was needed. Vegeta knew of it from Trunks, but hadn't learnt it, and this is proof that Fusion Reborn and all the other movies are in a different dimension from the main story of the comic, as Toriyama stated in a Daizenshuu 6 interview. Vegeta didn't even want to do the dance in Super Dragon Ball Heroes either at first. Number 2. With Vegito, the original ruling said it was a permanent fusion, so he wouldn't exist anymore as an individual. However, in Super Episode 66, Vegeta softened to Potara fusion when the more knowledgeable Gowasu explained mortal fusions only last for 1 hour. Fusion was also made possible as Vegeta vowed to defeat Zamasu at all costs, so that Trunks and the people could have a future. Number 3, with both fusions, he has to share his body with someone else, and it's an especially unattractive option when the other person is his arch-rival Goku. The thought of himself knowingly sharing conscious existence with Goku in a way that's beyond marriage is really out of the question. Number 4, fusion relinquishes Vegeta's ability to control his actions. Number 5, he has to admit he can't defeat a villain himself because they are stronger than him, and he needs someone else's power to do it. Both Vegeta and Goku are like that, but Goku is more willing to set that aside and won't refuse power through the help of others. At one point in Fusion Reborn, Goku understood Vegeta's pride and called Fusion off, but then Vegeta actually asked Goku to fuse with him. Goku was pitying him and consoling him about still being weaker than himself, and Vegeta didn't really want to hear any more of that pity talk, so he calmly asked him for fusion to end it. Number 6, Vegeta knows that the fused being also has the two beings' individual downsides. This can mean dragging out fights further, making the situation worse when they're forced to defuse. Fusion has sometimes resulted in a being who shows mercy like Goku and plays with his opponent like Vegeta. With Gogeta, this is a really bad thing due to the time limit, so sometimes it results in a double humiliation for Vegeta, where not only did he have to fuse to win, but they didn't even win, and that eventually results in Goku more than likely getting the kill. Of course, in the Buu arc, Vegito was playing around as he was trying to get absorbed so he could save all those Buu had imprisoned himself. Number 7, with Vegito, once the beings have put on the Potara, they hurtle towards each other at high speed in a position where their lower stomach areas contact first. If I was Vegeta, I'd honestly hate that moment so much. It's just like so cringy to me, honestly. Now let's talk about Goku and Vegeta's opinion on fusion since the end of Z. For the longest time it looked like we wouldn't see fusion again due to Z manga chapter 315. Goku and Vegeta were preparing to fight Kid Buu, but Goku was the first to say that they wouldn't need the Potara because fusion doesn't suit them. They wanted to fight alone and argued Buu's fusion was also finished as well. Vegeta agreed with Goku and respected him for valuing the principles of the Saiyans. This was echoed in Fusion Reborn when Vegeta's last words to Goku were, "I don't ever want to go through fusion again." After this point, Toriyama didn't have plans for fusion anymore because of their personalities and conscious decision to not fuse. However, it always remained possible as there wasn't anything in the dialogue that made it impossible for them to fuse again. In some ways, I do understand it does seem odd that Goku wanted to fuse against Zamasu, even if he knew the Namekian Dragon Balls could defuse them. But indeed, they had no other option really. They literally tried everything else. Well, what's interesting is the writers knew fans would question this and decided to address it. Toyotaro said in a Super Manga Volume 4 interview that Goku and Vegeta didn't fuse in the original draft. Their personalities made any fusion after the Majin Buu arc impossible. However, I wanted to meet the reader's expectations, and so I made a scenario where, even if they shouldn't really fuse, now they have absolutely no choice but to fuse. So Toriyama didn't intend for them to fuse again after the Buu saga. However, clearly in Super, Toyotaro wants to sometimes give fans what they like, so Vegito was written in, and Toriyama was fine with it. Regardless of what the writers do, there's always a way to get Vegeta to do the fusion, and that's play the Bulma card. The key to fusion is to fill Vegeta's heart with love for Bulma and Trunks, and this will far outstrip his hate of fusion and merging with his arch-rival. If the consequence of defeat means his loved ones die, that's worse than death itself. That's what happened against Buhan, and in Dragon Ball Super Broly. And in Super Dragon Ball Heroes Episode 2, Vegeta fused when he saw Trunks being defeated right in front of him. Some fans argue that Vegeta in Super should be more like his GT self, where he actually first suggested that they do the Metamoran fusion. However, Vegeta's writing in Super has remained more faithful to his original character filled with pride. Ever since Super Episode 2, he still wants to surpass Goku and be the strongest in the universe, so it's unlikely the concept of fusion will ever be popular again with Vegeta at the first time of asking. Now finally, I wanted to ask you guys a question, and this section contains some spoilers, so here's a spoiler warning. Did the Moro arc seal off fusion forever? You guys might ask, why am I thinking this? Well, what happened to Vegeta in this arc? He gained a new technique which splits certain types of fusions. Force Spirit Fission is the perfect technique for Vegeta, as he naturally hates fusion. So anytime he splits a future villain fusion, he will be delighted that in doing so, he is striking down the possibility of fusion with Goku. But will Force Spirit Fission be remembered and used in the story again? It should be remembered, as it really suits Vegeta's character. I feel like Toriyama wanted to remain faithful to Goku and Vegeta's personalities, so he created Force Spirit Fission to seal off the possibility of fusion again. Think about it, if there's ever a villain who stole power from others or absorbed life force, then Vegeta should be able to deal with him himself and no fusion is required, unless the villain powers up another way which negates the technique. Somehow this technique will need to be relevant in future arcs, so the door on fusion remains definitely closed. Vegeta cemented this in Super Chapter 61 when he said, "All I crave is a fair fight," which connects back to Z Chapter 315 which we already discussed. Fusion to him is borrowing someone else's power, and even if the circumstances are grave, it goes against his pride. Because Vegeta likes a fair fight, he naturally gravitates to Goku. His arch-rival also wants a fair fight, and he doesn't pull victories through underhanded means. Vegeta asks Moro, "Why don't you stop relying on strength stolen from others and simply fight with your own power?" Can you guys read between the lines here? Vegeta wasn't just asking Moro a question, he was also validating his own hatred for fusion. Fusion means relying on strength stolen from others as well. So from now on, it's quite possible Vegeta simply wants to fight with his own power. What if this is the end of fusion? How would you guys feel about that? Definitely let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Last video's #Enders winner is Dylan Boswell. Congratulations to you, and thanks to everyone who watches my videos all the way through till the end. And if you made it this far, comment down below #Enders for your chance to get featured at the end of the next video. And also guys, remember to like and subscribe, and also if you missed it, check out this video on why Vegeta hated Goku. Thanks, Kai Kai.